Hello fashionistas, it's your girl, Heidi Klum, here to take you on a fabulous journey through American fashion trends. Get ready to be amazed by how styles have transformed over the decades. Fashion is like a runway, constantly evolving and inspiring us to express ourselves. From Milan to New York, fashion is everywhere. It's a global language that speaks volumes about who we are. Every day we make choices about what to wear. Our clothing becomes our statement. So buckle up, my fashion-forward friends, as we dive into American fashion trends. Get ready for a whirlwind tour of iconic looks and unforgettable styles. Trust me, it's going to be fierce. Our first stop takes us back to the Roaring '20s, a time of jazz, flappers, and freedom. Picture smoky speakeasies, the Charleston, and women breaking free from the past. Fashion reflected the rebellious spirit of the decade. Imagine a drop-waist dress with fringe swaying with every move. Pair it with a chic cloche hat and pearls for the quintessential look. The flapper was independent, bold, and ready to dance the night away. T-strap heels added elegance and sophistication to every step. Whether dancing the Charleston or sipping cocktails, these shoes were perfect. A fur coat or feather boa added glamour and luxury. The 1920s embraced a streamlined silhouette, saying goodbye to restrictive corsets. Women were free to move, breathe, and express themselves. It was a time of liberation and self-expression, with fashion at the forefront. Now, gentlemen, don't think for a second that you were left out of this fashion revolution. The 1920s saw a shift in menswear as well, with a move towards a more relaxed and comfortable style. Gone were the days of stuffy three-piece suits. Instead, men embraced a more streamlined silhouette with soft-collared shirts and jackets. Pinstripes became all the rage, adding a touch of sophistication and swagger to any outfit. And for those chilly evenings, a long overcoat was the perfect way to stay warm while still looking sharp. Fedora hats were the crowning glory, adding an air of mystery and intrigue. But it wasn't just about the clothes, darlings. Accessories played a crucial role in completing the 1920s gentleman's look. Pocket watches, canes, and gloves were all essential items for the discerning gent. These small details added a touch of personality and refinement to any outfit. The 1920s were a time of great change and innovation, and menswear reflected this shift towards a more modern and liberated era. Men were no longer afraid to experiment with their personal style, embracing a more relaxed and individualistic approach to fashion. Fast forward to the glamorous 1930s, when Hollywood truly came into its own. Actresses like Greta Garbo and Joan Crawford set fashion trends with their impeccable style. Form-fitting dresses accentuated curves with elegant ankle-length hemlines. Bias-cut gowns clung to the body, showcasing every curve. Luxurious fabrics like satin and silk adorned with beading and sequins. Low backs added sultriness to these alluring gowns. Diamonds, pearls, and gemstones added Hollywood sparkle. Fashion offered a glimmer of hope and glamour during the Great Depression. The 1940s, darlings, a time of global conflict, and you know what that means? Rationing. Even fashion couldn't escape the realities of war. For the men, military uniforms became the norm. Can't say I'm mad about a man in uniform, but even those who weren't on the front lines felt the impact. Fabrics like silk and nylon, needed for parachutes and other war efforts, not evening gowns. Women had to get creative with what they had. Cotton became king, and practicality was the name of the game. Think sleek silhouettes, minimal embellishments, and a certain wartime chic. With Paris under occupation, American designers finally got their moment to shine. New York City became the new epicenter of the fashion world. Designers like Claire McCardell and Bonnie Cashin stepped up, creating practical yet stylish pieces for the modern American woman. The shoulder pad, my dears, became a symbol of female empowerment. Women were working in factories, taking charge, and their clothing reflected that strength. It wasn't all doom and gloom, though. The 1940s also saw the rise of the pin-up girl, a celebration of femininity and glamour even in tough times. The 1950s. After years of wartime austerity, fashion burst back onto the scene with a vengeance. Christian Dior, you genius, you gave us the new look. Cinched waists, full skirts, luxurious fabrics. It was all about embracing femininity and glamour again. Think Grace Kelly, Audrey Hepburn, pure elegance. But it wasn't just about Dior. Coco Chanel made her triumphant return, giving us the iconic Chanel suit, a timeless classic. Women had options again, from elegant dresses to chic suits. They could express their personal style while still looking polished and put together. But darlings, beneath the surface of all that elegance, a youthquake was brewing. Teenagers were developing their own sense of style, and it was all about rebellion. Enter Elvis Presley, James Dean, and the birth of rock and roll. Suddenly, leather jackets, jeans, and t-shirts were all the rage. Men's fashion loosened up, embracing a more casual cool. Think slim-fitting trousers, Hawaiian shirts, and those iconic leather jackets. The 1950s were a time of contrasts in fashion, a fascinating mix of classic elegance and youthful rebellion. One thing's for sure, it was never boring. Hold on to your hats, darlings, because the 1960s were a wild ride. London became the new fashion capital with its youthful energy and groundbreaking designs. Miniskirts, anyone? Mary Quant, you daring thing, you changed fashion forever. Hemlines went soaring and legs were on full display. And let's not forget the mod, look bold, geometric patterns, bright colors, and a playful, futuristic vibe. Think Twiggy with her pixie cut and those big, expressive eyes. It was a time for experimentation, for breaking the rules, and for celebrating individuality. The old rules of fashion were out the window. But the 1960s weren't just about miniskirts and mod. The counterculture movement was in full swing, and its influence on fashion was undeniable. Tie-dye, bell-bottoms, flowing fabrics, and ethnic influences. It was all about peace, love, and a rejection of traditional values. Denim became a symbol of rebellion and youth, and jeans became a wardrobe staple for both men and women. The 1960s were a time of social and political upheaval, and fashion became a powerful tool for self-expression and protest. It was a decade that truly changed the face of fashion forever. The 1970s, darlings, it was all about freedom, individuality, and expressing yourself just like on the runway. We saw a real shift, a departure from the structured looks of the past. This was the era of disco balls and bohemian dreams. Ladies, ditch those tight-fitting numbers. It was all about flowy granny dresses, those beautiful bell-bottoms that made your legs look miles long, and tunic tops that just screamed effortless chic. And let's not forget those graphic tees. Bold statements, bright colors. It was all about making a statement. Now for the workplace, you couldn't go wrong with a sharp pantsuit, but we're talking silk blouses with big beautiful bow ties and blazers with shoulders that meant business. And for a night out on the town, jumpsuits, my dears. They were sleek, sophisticated, and perfect for dancing the night away. And to top it all off, knit vests. They were like the cherry on top of a perfect 70s ensemble. Whether you layered them over a dress or a turtleneck, they added that extra touch of warmth and style. Men, the 70s were your time to loosen up, literally. Gone were the days of stiff suits and perfectly coiffed hair. It was all about embracing a more relaxed, even rebellious vibe. Think low-rise bell-bottoms. Yes, you heard that right, men in bell-bottoms, and platform shoes that added inches and attitude. And for leisure time, tracksuits, darling. They were comfortable, stylish, and perfect for everything from a jog in the park to a casual hangout. Shirts were meant to be untucked, and hair, let it grow. The Beatles, Led Zeppelin. These rock stars became style icons, inspiring men to embrace their natural texture and let their locks flow free. It was a time of change, a time to break the mold, and fashion reflected that rebellious spirit. Men's style became a fusion of comfort, coolness, and a touch of rock and roll. Get ready to crank up the music and embrace the boldness because the 1980s were here to make a statement. This was the decade of excess, of pushing boundaries, and of expressing yourself with unapologetic flair. One word, darlings, color, and lots of it. We're talking neon pinks, electric blues, and sunshine yellows. This was not the time for shy wallflowers. The bolder, the brighter, the better. High-waisted pants were all the rage for both men and women, accentuating those curves and creating a silhouette that was both flattering and fierce. And let's not forget the hair, big, messy, and full of texture. Think perms, crimping irons, and enough hairspray to hold it all together. And the accessories? Oh honey, the bigger the better. Oversized hoop earrings, chunky necklaces, and stacks of bracelets. It was all about making a statement. Makeup followed suit with bold eyeshadows, bright blushes, and lipsticks in every shade imaginable. The 1980s saw the rise of MTV, and with it a whole new way for fashion to reach the masses. Music videos became mini-movies, showcasing the latest trends and influencing a whole generation's sense of style. For the ladies, it was a time of experimentation. Leg warmers with leggings, oversized tops with parachute pants, miniskirts with crop tops, anything went. It was about mixing and matching, creating unique looks that reflected your individual personality. Men embraced a more casual cool. Sweatpants went mainstream, and sports jerseys, especially those iconic NFL and NHL logos, became streetwear staples. Denim jackets, faded jeans, and corduroy pants were wardrobe essentials. The 1980s were a whirlwind of bold choices and unforgettable looks. It was a time to break free from the norm, embrace your individuality, and let your style shine. The 1990s. In the fashion world, we were like so over the neon explosions of the 80s, you know? It was time for something different, something more relaxed, more grunge. Think Nirvana, think oversized everything. We saw a lot of loose-fitting silhouettes, but the colors? Not so loud anymore. Think muted tones, faded denim, and a whole lot of plaid. Oh, and let's not forget the footwear darling, Nike Air Jordans? They were everything. Everyone wanted a piece of that iconic swoosh. And then there were the baseball caps, worn forward, backward, sideways, you name it, we did it. It was all about that effortless cool. And speaking of cool, let's talk about the rise of hip-hop style. As hip-hop music took center stage, so did the fashion. Baggy jeans, Timberlands, and those iconic gold chains. It was all about making a statement, about embracing a culture that was all about individuality and self-expression. One thing about the 90s, we loved our brand names. Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, you name it, we were rocking it. It was all about that logo, darling, about showing the world you had your finger on the pulse of fashion, but it wasn't all about being flashy. Remember the minimalist trend? Think sleek slip dresses, tailored pantsuits, and a whole lot of black. It was all about understated elegance, about letting the clothes speak for themselves. And who could forget the iconic Rachel haircut? Jennifer Aniston, you single-handedly launched 1,000 copycats. From the layered cut to the chokers and butterfly clips, the 90s were all about embracing a more natural, effortless kind of beauty. The 1990s were a melting pot of styles, a decade where grunge met glamour, where streetwear met high fashion. It was a time of experimentation, of pushing boundaries, and most importantly, of having fun with fashion. Welcome to the 2000s, where we traded in our grunge for a little bit of sparkle and shine. This decade was all about embracing femininity, about showing a little skin, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of Y2K anxiety. Denim miniskirts, shorter than ever, darling. And let's not forget those barely there halter tops and those low-rise jeans that left little to the imagination. It was all about celebrating those curves, honey. Capri pants made a comeback, and we paired them with everything from baby tees to those iconic going-out tops with the spaghetti straps. And let's not forget the bling. We were all about those chunky highlights in our hair, those sparkly butterfly clips, and of course the blinged-out cell phone charms. The 2000s were all about mixing and matching, about taking inspiration from different eras and creating something totally unique. Designers were raiding the archives, bringing back elements from the 70s, the 80s, and even the 90s. Remember those bootcut jeans? They made a comeback, and we paired them with everything from peasant tops to fitted t-shirts. And for the men, athletic wear became a wardrobe staple. Think tracksuits, hoodies, and those iconic baseball caps. It was the era of the athleisure trend, where comfort met style, and we weren't afraid to rock our workout clothes outside the gym. And who could forget the rise of fast fashion? Suddenly, staying on trend was easier and more affordable than ever before. The 2000s were a whirlwind of fashion trends, a decade where we weren't afraid to experiment, to push boundaries, and to embrace a little bit of that Y2K flair. From the flapper dresses of the roaring 20s to the low-rise jeans of the 2000s, American fashion has always been a reflection of our cultural landscape, our values, and our aspirations. We've celebrated practicality and glamour, embraced rebellion and conformity, and always pushed the boundaries of creativity. And as we look to the future of fashion, one thing remains certain. American style will continue to evolve, to inspire, and to leave its mark on the world. So whether you're a fan of vintage finds or the latest trends, remember this: fashion is a powerful form of self-expression, a way to tell your story without saying a word. So go ahead, embrace your own unique style and walk your own runway, darling.